Hello darlings, it's October and as we all know it's National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and over at the blog, The Tennille Life, we have partnered with Talbots and they have a gorgeous campaign going on right now called Art of the Scarves, and 20% of the proceeds goes to National Breast Cancer Research. And this scarf by Caroline So is so beautiful and chic, and I will be wearing it to show solidarity for breast cancer awareness. And I think at the blog we were feeling very inspired by this campaign with Talbots and wanted to share a more in-depth story. And I asked my gorgeous friend who was diagnosed with breast cancer and is now in recovery, and she came by, Kornelia Hanna, so beautiful, oh my gosh, I love her. She came by, sat down with me, and we just chatted, and she just, in a very candid and refreshing and compelling way, shared her recovery story with me. So coming up next is that interview and that conversation, and yeah, so here we go. And I have to be honest, our relationship, I've known you for like 10 years now, and I don't, up until then, I've never had anyone in my life have the disease and, you know, been
wow,
diagnosed.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
You're blessed.
Well, actually,
yeah, you're really blessed.
My grandmother was diagnosed when I was little, and so she had a mastectomy, but by the time I was maybe 10 or 11, and it wasn't like terribly close to her, and so she lived in Huntington Beach, I lived in Northern California, that whole thing. So I never really, she wasn't the kind of person that I could like open up to and like ask her all these questions. Not that I even at that age would have known what to ask. Right. So sharing the last 6 months with you has been absolutely inspiring and eye-opening and all those things, because you have been very candid and taught me a lot.
But the same goes for you, Tennille. You're the same for me. I mean, what you share, you know, also with your endometriosis that you went through, same for me. And you're such an inspiration, you know, about life, about a lot of things. And I'm your biggest fan on Instagram. I love your posts. I like your candids. It's just so cute when you talk, and I like to see you prepare food, you know.
Well, it means so much to have you share your experience, your journey, your whatever it is that you're okay with sharing with us today. Would be just absolutely gorgeous, and we would love if you could just share a little bit about your breast cancer journey and how you were diagnosed.
Well, I was diagnosed in January this year, and thank God because of a mammogram. And I started to get into this holistic thing, and people were telling me, don't do mammogram, it will cause cancer, it'll cause cancer. And then I remember I was at the gynecologist, thank the Lord for that gynecologist I had at the time. She was telling me, so please, you have breast cancer in the family, do me a favor, have a mammogram, because every year in December I go for mammogram. And I wanted to stop doing it. And I said, oh, I want ultrasound. And she said, listen, I'll give you the ultrasound, but do me a favor. If you don't do it for yourself, do a mammogram. I said, okay, I'll do one more, because my sister just went through stage 3 breast cancer this year, which was last year.
Right.
And lo and behold, did the mammogram, came out, something was abnormal, did the ultrasound. If it were just for the ultrasound, I would have walked away free and clear, and I would have never known I had cancer until I would have felt something. But listen to this, I got very dense breast tissue. And when you have very dense breast tissue, and if you're not aware of that, to feel it is, you don't feel it all the time, you know, if there's a knot in there. And especially if the knot sits deep, which mine did. Ultrasound didn't pick it up, but the mammogram said there's something abnormal, and then they asked me to come back for more pictures, which I did. And then they said, listen, we highly recommend a biopsy because this is really not normal. And then it was January 8th that I got diagnosed. Thank God for the mammogram.
The mammogram that everyone was like, no, it's killing you, don't do that.
No,
mammogram.
it does not. I think it saves
Okay,
more
everyone,
life.
so you heard that. Get your mammograms. And do you know when mammograms begin? Because I've actually never had a mammogram.
I think
I just turned 40 and my doctor hasn't mentioned it to me. So maybe it's...
I started it when I was 40, I think.
Okay.
My first mammogram was at 40.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, but I don't know if you have to do it. I mean, I did it every year.
Okay.
And thank God.
Did you do it every year because breast cancer's in your family, or you just thought, or this was recommended by your doctor?
Yeah, that's my gynecologist. It was just regular checkups.
I see.
And that's when this holistic people came along. Don't do that. You're killing yourself. Like,
my goodness.
Thank God I did it. Thank God I listened to a traditional doctor. Well, and hey, I believe in holistic stuff, but
no,
I think...
and you know that's sort of like my whole shtick, and I know that that is something that we commiserate over, that we want to be as natural and have, you know, let our lifestyle really keep us healthy.
And I do believe, I believe in both, the best of both. I believe in the traditional and I believe in the holistic. And talking about just getting into my healing journey, I never called it, I was always against, I never said, it never was on my lips, cancer is my bitch and this and that.
Yes.
I just think it's just, first of all, it's not me. And I always treated it as my healing journey.
Okay.
Cancer was never my bitch. It isn't. It never was. Cancer has taught me, if anything. And well, now I want to tear up because no, because it's like to me it wasn't so terrible. I mean, hey, it's not when you're diagnosed. It's a shock at first, but I think. Yes, something you wanted to ask next, right?
I did, and it's like that. It goes right to that, and it's
like,
what were your biggest fears when you were diagnosed?
See, I was not really scared, and then again, you know, I have to admit, I was diagnosed at stage 1 in its infancy, and that didn't scare me. Because I just saw my sister going through stage 3 the year before, and she can beat. If she can beat stage 3, I can beat stage 1. I mean, I believe anybody can beat stage 1. And that's why I was never scared.
When I remember I did a post and I was talking about that I was gonna have this hysterectomy, and you reached out to me. You're like, Tennille, oh my gosh. Are you okay? And I've been going through my own thing, because we hadn't like been keeping up with each other like on a regular basis. And then I talked to you, and it was just after you'd been diagnosed, and it was just before my hysterectomy.
Right.
And even though we're not dealing with the same issues, our conversation was so similar, right?
Right.
And you had your fears, and I had my fears. I had my hormonal things. I was just like, what's my body going to be like hormonally? And then you were talking about estrogen in your body.
Nuts.
Yeah, and I just felt like God had connected us for a reason, because that's just how, that's my belief. And
it always works that way.
Your courage absolutely was like, you know what? She's badass, because this is how I need to be. This is what
you are that way already.
No, but to like voice your fears, and you're just someone that I can share these things with, and I said to myself, oh my gosh, Kornelia has the right spirit, the right attitude, and I need to like follow her lead. And you have been constant. Every time I've seen you, because I've seen you like every other week since then.
Yeah.
Every time I see you, you're the same way, and I absolutely, it just touches me. It makes me tear up. And so when I ask you what your biggest fears, I can say without a doubt, guys, she was fearless. And it was pretty powerful.
I mean, like I said, I feel very lucky and fortunate that, or blessed, for a better word, that I was diagnosed in stage 1, because I thought, you know, at stage 1, I got no fears. This can be beat easily.
Yeah.
And, well, easily, I mean, you still have to, especially when you go the traditional route, you still have, depending what type of cancer you have, you still have to go through chemotherapy, radiation if you don't have mastectomy. I had like my left one boob is replaced by my tummy. That's another question! I don't know. I always like, when I talk, I always jump and
No.
I mean, but that's why I was never really scared, because I know I can do this. But I really asked myself in the beginning the question, if I have stage 1, shall I just go holistic only? Or shall I go traditional only? And then my husband goes, no, you gotta go to the doctor.
Yes.
And then I decided for myself that I want to do both simultaneously, which I did. And I had very good doctors and it really worked out pretty good. But I have to say, doing the holistical stuff side by side made my journey. I feel like I didn't struggle through it. I feel like I sailed through it because of what I did. And talking about fear, and I really think there's something important that you should know when you get first diagnosed. Sit back, you got a little time, don't worry. I mean, of course you worry. I don't want to say don't worry. I mean, I worry too, of course. But you got some time to figure this thing out. And once you figure it out, the minute you put your gear into action, fear will diminish. And if you go the traditional route, don't just sit back and let the doctors do their work, because then you really don't do anything. Mm-hmm. And that's like, you know, like you complain, this is a problem, I throw up, you're nauseous, you're this, you're that, mm-hmm. and you're not doing anything and you just swallow pills. Then you're passive, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And then anything can happen, you know? Right. But if you start to be proactive, which I did holistically, get up in the morning, make my juices, you know, change my lifestyle a little bit. I mean, I tried, actually personally, it's changed it quite a bit, going into more vegan stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like my steak, you know. But,
I know.
And my red wine, which I totally abandoned alcohol for that 6 to 9 months. Yes. That, you know. Oh, it's not been 9 months. I just started. I had my first glass of red wine a month ago.
Oh my gosh.
It was really good.
You deserve it.
It was
totally
good.
Deserve it.
But like I said, you put your gear into action and be proactive, fear will subside. I guarantee you, because that's always how it works with anything you do. You put your gear into action, anything you want to do, anything you do. And it is no different when you're diagnosed with breast cancer. Be proactive.
Oh my gosh.
That's the most important thing.
It sounds simple, but I mean, there's definitely, everyone could think about something in their life where inactivity actually brought on more fear. And having a plan and proceeding with it and following through with it, it sort of distracts your mind and it's comforting. I would imagine. Still, you just are so brave and so profound. Like, you always... Every time I talk to you, I'm like, and I was with you. I like lived through this with you. So I'm like, I know that you're not bluffing. Like this is you. This is what you embody, and it's just it's amazing.
And I mean, I've never been the depressive kind, so
no,
I always
which is
see
why
the
I'm always so
greener.
attracted to you, because you're just
so
light
you.
and air, and just make me laugh. And you've not been any different the last 6 months. So. So the next question is, I know we've talked about friendships and relationships and how sometimes when you're going through something like this, relationships with friends and family or so forth, they can change. It sort of brings out either the really nasty, meany stuff, or it can bring out the most gorgeous things. And I feel like our relationship has deepened and gotten stronger, and I feel like I can tell you anything and share anything with you.
Same here.
And not that I would ever want someone to have to be ill to bring that about, but illness can do that, right?
It always does.
I think we on the blog, we really want to enlighten people and what would you tell someone who has never met someone with breast cancer? Because what I think happens in people's minds is, oh, that's awkward, or that's uncomfortable. And they're really being sort of selfish about it. Like, oh, this is awkward for me, and I don't want to touch that, or I don't want, you know, that kind of thing. But what they're forgetting is this person on the other side actually would really love for you to come and have some tea and just like sit and chat on the back porch or whatever, like do something normal and not feel like a pariah, like, oh my gosh, I'm this sick person and everyone feels like they're tippy-toeing around me. So I think this question is perfect for you because the moment I talked to you, the very first time I talked to you about it, and you're like, I'm not gonna fucking die of cancer. And I was like, yes! I was like, no. Honestly, you saying that is what changed in my mind. I was like, oh, she hasn't changed. I'm being silly. This isn't awkward. This isn't weird. I just need to be like my normal self because I didn't know any better. I didn't know, not like you have to act like I'm gonna be quiet or.
No.
I mean, and everyone's different.
You know, life is life. I mean, of course it changes, especially when you go through the treatment, you know, and if you go the traditional route and you go through chemotherapy, and I mean, I didn't have radiation, thank God, but if you have to go through, I mean, it's tough days, you know, and you have tough days ahead, but I never have a problem talking about it. The opposite. I mean, I'm known to wear my heart on my sleeve, and it's not, you know, I'm an open freaking book, sometimes too open. You know, my husband always says like, really, did you have to tell everybody everything? It's like, there's no secret. But you know, but when it comes to breast cancer, I mean, we should be open books and we should be sharing because, you know, I don't think we can ever share enough because that one thing that you thought is not important to share might just help somebody get over a terrible day going through this journey, I feel.
So would you say that if a family member, a friend, a colleague, something like that in your life, someone like that in your life is diagnosed, you say, be as normal as possible?
No, you don't. No, this is not. I mean, you can't say something. You can't tell somebody be as normal as possible. You can't. Yeah. What you can't. I mean, because everybody is different, you know. And I didn't tell myself, oh, be as normal as possible.
No, I meant for like other people.
No, you can't. I don't think that's good. No. The good advice. Just be normal as possible. What you can tell them is just stay the course. Do what you always do in your life. Do what makes you happy. I mean, if you're able to work, go to work. If you like to cook dinner, if you have the strength, cook dinner, you know, when you go through treatment. I mean, you have your very good days, and then you have some days where you can't really do much, you know, and you're happy that you have some friends to bring you food.
Right, and on those days, those are the days that you text me and say, hey, farmer's market, and I just said to myself, I'm so glad that she's like doing better, wants to do something normal. I'm in town, so I mean, that's what we did. We had lots of dates like that.
It's like I said, no, you don't tell somebody do what's normal. You tell them do what you always do. Don't change it.
Okay.
And if you do certain things that made you unhappy, see if you can stop doing them.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
sure.
I mean, if you have a job that you didn't like, I mean, of course, you're not always able to walk away from it, but try to make some changes and some shifts in your life, because I think, you know, cancer has a lot, not just breast cancer, any cancer has a lot to do with lifestyle issues as well, especially when we are unhappy or depressed about a certain situation in our life.
Right.
I think that has a lot to do with it too.
Okay. So that brings us to, what has this journey taught you?
Well, it has taught me a lot. I mean, this is a loaded question, you know, because you know, there's so much. It did teach me to be, especially, and for me personally, patience.
Really?
I swear to God, I have no patience. But with this, you can't rush things. You go through it. Nothing happens overnight. You know, it's not like, okay, you pray today and tomorrow it's gone.
Right.
It's a journey, And I called it and that's the reason why I called it my healing journey. And patience was really something big for me. And I also learned, and I'm really grateful, that I'm really seriously grateful for, who are your friends and who are not.
Right.
And that was an eye-opener.
Oh.
The ones that I thought that were definitely gonna be there and be around, well, actually, you wouldn't believe it. Never heard, never seen.
Oh.
I swear to God, since my diagnosis. And then there's people that I would go, you know, there's like, I mean, I like to go out and have a good time and have my cocktails and happy hour. And then there was this one woman, friend, I mean, acquaintance. I never got close to her because she's a little boring, you know. But guess what?
She's
that one. Yeah. That one came through, and I couldn't believe it. She had, you know, she didn't owe me anything, nothing. But that one was consistent. Oh. She was consistent in contacting me, seeing that, and you know, telling me what to eat or what not to eat. She was very into that because she's very into holistic stuff. And she helped me a lot also with the holistic things, you know, telling me, you know, which mushroom tea to drink and stuff. Right. So, and I never expected anything from her. And this is the one that was one of them that was the most constant. And I didn't want to hang out with her because it was just boring. I take that back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after I got to know her a little better, she's actually not that boring. Is that funny? Is that funny?
No, I mean, again, it just seems like you don't want illness to be a reason to bring people together, but
it does.
But it does,
and it's beautiful.
It can be beautiful. Yeah,
yes, it is.
It can be beautiful. So our final question is, because throughout the last few months, you and I have talked about this constantly. What are your plans or goals post-cancer treatment?
To live a little bit more intense. I mean, I've always lived like, you know, like fun. I mean, I had always a lot of fun. But fun always for me included a glass of wine. And that's changed. And I don't want to go back to that. I mean, hey, it's great and I'm not going to not have wine. But I'm definitely focused myself more. Fun doesn't mean I always have to have a glass of wine. Well, that's personally from me. But my goal is, when I say to live more intense, to go for what really makes you happy. And I haven't done that enough.
And what specifically do you think you want to do that will make you happy?
I really think I'm going back into the acting.
Yes.
I've always been in and out, but you know, then I had a job that made good money and I'm like, oh, the money's so good, and then, you know, this was always on the back burner. But you know what, if you have something that bugs you, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter if you're sick or what you're going through. If you have some energy left, you owe it to yourself. You really owe it to yourself to do it, because being happier and what nourishes your soul, that creates good health.
It sure does.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. Last night I was going to bed and I was thinking about you coming over today, and I was like, oh, even if this conversation helps one person, it's worth it. And that, for me, that's what the blog is. It's just this opportunity to inspire. And when I hear you say go for it and do what you're on fire for, no matter what, I cannot wait. You have to do the same thing. You absolutely, I just know that now that your body is healing, it's like...
Oh, and about the healing thing, there's one more thing, and I'm telling you, the detoxing. I swear to God, I'm telling you, that's very important.
Okay, wait. So Kornelia just did a detox 3 days ago, and I'm gonna make her eat something buttery and bad for her.
I mean, hey, it's always room for a treat.
Yeah, there's the balance. But tell me a little bit about the detox that you just did, because now I'm curious, and it's not on the little question thing, but I want to know, and I'm sure you guys want to know too. So.
No, I mean, there's tons of different detoxes out there. But coming off of chemotherapy and being in the hospital, getting pumped fully with antibiotics and anesthesia and all this stuff, I really think your body gets a break when you, I mean, I did a 7-day choose fast, choose cleanse. I didn't have any solid food. I mean, there's different programs out there that can work, you know? And I also did the bowel cleanse to make sure that the bowel works first before you detox, so this detoxins can go someplace. But I wanted to say, you should definitely, when you're done with chemo and radiation, whatever, what it did for me, check out the detoxes, what's available, and go for some. Because I realized now that I came off of this 8-day detox, and this is the best I've felt since I started this whole healing journey. I feel like I'm on fire again, and I got my energy, I got a boost. I mean, it's amazing. And that is something post or after, if post chemotherapy, post radiation, I highly recommend it because it'll do wonders for you. Definitely.
I mean, I believe in detoxing. I think the body needs a break from digestion and needs a break from all the things that we put environmental things to. We live in this world, so there's environmental toxins as well, and just to purge your body, just even if it's 3 days or 1 day a week. 1 day
a week, just drink vegetable juice for one day a week. It'll make all the difference.
And the last thing that I was going to ask you about is, do you still intend to advocate for like living a aging gracefully and that whole thing?
Well, I was just thinking about that this morning, you know, because it's like,
this is something that Kornelia and I talk about all the time, because we really believe in just natural beauty, and age ain't nothing but a number, which is so cliche. I know it's so cliche, but this is something that we really embody, and as being as close to her as possible, you know, as a person could be, I just feel like that is definitely something that attracts me to her, is that she too believes in living naturally, age gracefully.
Oh, I'm totally for it, but now that my hair is coming in again, I mean, I knew it's gonna be, I'm a little gray already, but now it's coming in, and I was a blonde, you know, before that. And now it's like, I've noticed it's all white. I love the white because I like to go for the silver look. I love that because it's so hip. But then I see this, I think it's grayish.
It's a little bit.
Hey, I'm not so sure about that yet. It's like,
you're gonna be stunning.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure.
Listen, you look at how you look. Just you walk. She walked into the house, guys, and I was just like, oh my god, she looks amazing. So trust me.
I like this, like I said, I have this wig and it's all silver, and I just feel like a star, you know, movie stuff. And I was hoping that my hair would come out all white and beautiful, but now there's this dark freaking gray in there, so I have to learn to embrace it. And guess what? I'm all this natural, and I do embrace age. I have no problem people knowing about my age. I'm in my early 50s. I have absolutely no issue with that. But if I look in the mirror and I don't like that gray, guess what? I'm gonna make it silver. It's my weakness.
You're gonna be gorgeous no matter what, but silver definitely. And now that my hair is obviously turning white, I'm just like, I can't wait to get like 100% white, which I've got many years.
I mean, I love your hair, and I've known you only with this hair look, and with this look, and with the gray, and I always adored and admired it. But you know what? It looks so stunning on you too, because your skin and everything is also beautiful and flawless.
We're talking about you. What you doing? No, I'm kidding. Thank you, sweetie. No, that's so cute. So, yeah, we've definitely been sisterhood of the aging babes. I know I love you.
I love you too.
Okay. Good?
Well, thank you. Yes.
I know.